Top mistakes to avoid if you want to crush it on Amazon in 2023 and beyond. The common pitfalls that trip up even the most experienced sellers. All right, mistake number one, not doing proper product research before launching a product. This is a big one. If you're not doing the right product research, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail hard, because you're gonna lose money. If there isn't a demand for your product, you're gonna have a tough time making sales, or you're gonna make sales, you're just not gonna make profit or break even. Now, to avoid this mistake, make sure that the product you're looking for is an item that isn't too saturated, not too many people selling it, and they're not selling it for less than what you can potentially purchase and sell it back on the platform. You're gonna lose time and money here, so make sure you're doing the proper research. You wanna be as thorough as possible with your research. When I see an item that I like, I'll check it one, I'll go back and check it again twice, and right before I make a purchase, I'll check it a third time to make sure that everything that I did initially on the research checked out. You want to make sure you're factoring in what your FBA fees are going to be to sell on the platform and what it's going to cost you to prep and ship this item out to the platform. So make sure you're factoring in how much it's going to cost you to purchase, how much it's going to cost you to prep and ship, and how much it's going to cost you to sell on the platform. What's Amazon's fees and storage fees if you're doing FBA. So mistake number two, not properly pricing your product. This is a very common mistake. It can hurt you as far as your sales. You can have really good momentum, and then all of a sudden another seller is beating you out on price and you're not getting buy box. If you want to make sales, you got to make sure you're priced competitively with everybody else, right? You could be pennies higher, you could be pennies less. Just make sure you're pricing the item the right way, so that way the algorithm can pick you up and Amazon pretty much gives you buy box. But you want to make sure that you have some type of repricer tool set up on your store for each of your items, all right? So make sure that the repricer knows how much you bought the item for and what your limits are as far as what you want to sell it at what point is your break even, or at what point you're taking a loss. That way you don't dip below that. And it's totally fine that if you're being outbid, there's a bidding war right now for that specific item that you're selling, there's a bunch of other sellers selling it at that price point. It's totally fine to just let it sit, let it do its thing. Eventually those other sellers that are outbidding each other, they will sell out, and then you can come back in and make the profit that you factored in initially. Now, if you start to go way past the time, then hey, take the L, break even, take a loss, get the money back, and just put it on something else, all right? A lot of times people have this fixated on making 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% on the item, and it'll take them 4 or 5 months to get it when they could just take 5, 8, 10% in 30 days. I'd rather take 5, 10% in 30 days versus 15% over 4 months, right? I'll make more money that way versus taking the more money on the back end or over time. Hey guys, stick to the end and I'll tell you what a good percentage is that you should be expecting when you're selling on Amazon. Mistake number 3, not optimizing your listing. Keywords, not products. That's what we're selling on Amazon. When you're shopping on Amazon, a lot of times it's just a simple keyword and they give you what you were looking for, right? And there's tons of ways to find which keywords you should use for your product. You'll find a bunch of websites and extensions you can install on Chrome to help optimize your listing. You can't get ranked on the first page on Amazon if your keywords are garbage, if your product description sucked, if your image quality is horrible, all right? So make sure that you're doing what it takes to end up on the first page. The right images, good detailed product descriptions. That first impression sucks and they're not gonna buy from you. And that's why you're not making sales. Mistake number 4, the customer is always right. You gotta get that in your head. So don't fight it. Even if you know you're right and the customer could be lying, Amazon doesn't care, right? It's always customer first, seller second. Do not fight it, because if that customer leaves you a negative review, you get negative feedback on your store, it's gonna hurt your store's health. It's gonna hurt your overall selling ability on the platform. Honestly, what are you gonna lose? A couple bucks? Just give them back the money. If they get the product for free, who cares? Whatever. It's a cost of doing business. Just keep it clean. Don't fight with a customer. Just, hey, you're right. Here's a replacement. Because if you fight with the customer leaves you negative feedback, it's not a good look. It's gonna hurt you in the long run. Long term, it'll only benefit your store. And finally, mistake number 5, not staying up to date with Amazon's policies. Amazon's policies are always changing. Shit, in the last year, Amazon probably had 15, 20 different changes on the platform, and a lot of people ignored them. If you don't, obviously, I mean, we all know as sellers, you can get suspended, you get complaints on the store, they pretty much stop giving you buy box, and they start reviewing your account. They start auditing you, right? So you don't want to raise any flags on your store. You want to stay under the radar, make sure nobody's looking at you. Make sure that you're regularly checking Amazon Seller Central page, subscribe to any relevant newsletters, updates, hop in forums. They have a forum within the platform itself for sellers. Talk to people in the forums, other sellers. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people, because they might bring up something you didn't even realize was a rule or a policy on the platform. Stay on top of that. You should be good to go, man. We're all human, we all make mistakes. Amazon knows that also, but you don't want to give them a reason to shut your store down. Most people come in and they think, hey, I need to be making 20, 30, 40, 50% on an item. You can make a higher return when you're actually branding items as your own, buying stuff from China, repackaging it, selling it. Now, if you're doing FBA, especially on the wholesale model, to make 30, 40, 50%, it's very hard to do it consistently. Yeah, you're gonna find items that you're making that number, but then you're gonna have a bunch of other items where you're not gonna make that number, right? You're purchasing it at 15, 20, 25%. Now, when you actually list it on a platform, climate, the landscape could change. There's a bunch of other sellers selling that item, and that eats into your margin, right? So now you're gonna have to come down on your price. I look at it like this. If I'm selling an item and I know I can get 15% on an item, but it's gonna take me 3-4 months to get 15%, and over 3 months is 5% a month. Whereas I can sell that thing out in 30 days and I can make 7-8%. Which one am I gonna make more money with? I'd rather sell that out, clear it out, make my 7 or 8% now. Over the course of a year, 7 and 8%, right? You're looking at anywhere between 84 to like 96%, even over 100%, depending on what number you're actually getting. So guys, there you have it. All right, these are some of the top mistakes to avoid when selling on the platform in 2023. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more helpful content like this, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and smash that button, man. All right. If you have any questions, you want to share your own experiences, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to communicate, chat with you. I'm on Instagram, Muhammad Flips. I share a lot of content there, live look at stores. Good place to connect with me. You guys take care.